This is the West Virginia Capitol Report. Funding for the West Virginia Capitol Report is brought to you by Mark A. Hunt and Associates and by the AFL-CIO of West Virginia.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Capitol Report. I'm Bill Laird along with co-host Dave Perry, and we've got a great show lined up today. A very special guest joining us here in the reception room of the governor's office in the state capitol building in Charleston is the Honorable Jim Justice, 36th governor of the state of West Virginia. And Governor, welcome to the Capitol Report show.
Bill, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And David, not every day we get the opportunity to sit down with the governor, so he's agreed to talk to us on a variety of different issues. So
we appreciate it, and as you said, he's a very busy man and has a lot of complex issues going on right now. So, Governor, we appreciate the time.
Dave, thank you.
Yeah. I guess I'll lead off here by asking you about road construction. Obviously, the road construction bonds have been put out there, and I understand you just announced something that's very intriguing to the people in southern West Virginia and all of West Virginia, the Easy Pass system.
Yeah. Well, Dave, we talked about that a long ways back. To be perfectly honest, I don't know how I came up with the $8, but it just seems like it's a really wonderful thing for especially the citizens of southern West Virginia and all of West Virginia. You know, from the standpoint of if you ever travel the turnpike or whatever like that, it's a big time savings and all that. And 76% of the people that are traveling on our turnpikes are traveling from out of state, and so it's a way maybe to pick up a few extra dollars from them and help our people here in the state. And that's what we want to do. We want to, at the end of the day, do good stuff for West Virginians, and we want people to come. We want people to come, and even the people from across the state lines or whatever like that, if they want to buy an Easy Pass, surely we can't deny them from being able to do that, and we're happy for them to do that. But there's a lot of good things happening in West Virginia, and that's just one of them.
Speaking of good things, I noticed recently that there's an uptick in collections, and it would appear that West Virginia's turned the corner. They've talked about oil and gas and coal and so forth. How do you view that, Governor?
Well, Dave, back in the first day of the state, maybe back even in the campaign, you know, they asked me, where's the money going to come from? And I said, I really truly believe in my heart that severance taxes are going to rise. And everybody almost laughed, you know, but this is what my family has done for generations and generations. And I really felt like that we were going to see a movement from the standpoint in a positive way from oil and gas, but coal as well. And so there are lots and lots of things that have happened within West Virginia. We've turned the reddest numbers in the world. And I'm not tooting my horn, but the reddest, the most bleakest numbers on the planet. In all honesty, when I first was handed the books, and I know something about business, you know, but when I was first handed the books, you have never seen a set of books where an entity, and it was our state, was more bankrupt. I mean, we were completely, totally dead. Nowhere to turn. Had already drawn rainy day down to a point in time to where our bonds were being derated. Nowhere to turn other than to take drastic cuts to Medicaid or DHHR or K through 12 or higher ed. Nowhere to turn. Well, if we had done that, all we would have done is driven more people away from West Virginia. And so we didn't do it. And I refused to do it in every way. We didn't make the cuts. I took a chance with an idea on the road bonds and all that kind of stuff that it would create immediate employment and the severance taxes would rise, and lo and behold, it's working. And now we've got black numbers. Everybody's smiling. Everybody thinks we're doing just great. Nobody stops to think maybe all the work that's been done. But there's been a lot of work done. It's been good work, too.
Absolutely. And those black numbers look mighty good, that's for sure. Governor, again, the Roads to Prosperity Amendment, very important part of what we needed to do in the state of West Virginia. But I've always found that for average West Virginians, the most important road in the state is the one that runs right in front of their house. And again, with the $1.6 billion, there would be, I'm sure, a phased approach to that, where we'll do certain maintenance work in addition to new construction. For our viewers who may be watching this that are interested in what road projects, is there a place where they can get an update on the status of those projects, and really, are we going to be moving forward with those pretty quickly?
Well, I think there's a lot of ways you can go. You can go in on our website and look for quick response hotlines, and you can look for you can go directly to your local Department of Highways, or you can go to our Department of Transportation. There's lots of ways to find out stuff. But Bill, the biggest key is you can't fix every single road tomorrow, but our goal is not to just do the big projects, but our goal is to do the rural projects as well, because those people have really suffered. And so there's just tons of stuff going on, but as it goes on, it will just keep rolling out. At the end of the day, it will amount to in excess of $3 billion. And then we have another kicker that could very well happen here, and that's just this. If President Trump rolls out with his infrastructure plan, and he and I are buddies and everything, and I'm sure that West Virginia will get their fair share of it too. And if that be the case, we'll even get more. So all that drives jobs and tourism and opportunity beyond belief. But everyone said you can't pass a road bond, for $500 million. No way. Let alone $3 billion. And so, but I believe that the people would believe in me and that they would do it. And lo and behold, we passed it by 73% of the vote. Unbelievable. And so people are going to have to put up with the orange cones. We ask them, please, to drive slow, please, to be observant of the construction workers, and I know there's going to be an inconvenience, but it's the only way. It's the only way we can have a new road, or a repaired road, and not be tearing our vehicles all to pieces, and welcome people in and out.
Absolutely. Well, again, I know that economic growth and development is very important to the future of our state, and recognizing the need to find ways in which to further diversify our economy, bring jobs. These are things that certainly you've made an important emphasis on during your tenure as governor. And again, a lot of areas: agriculture, manufacturing, high tech. Those are perhaps things that the state needs to be, working toward as far as diversifying our economy. And at this stage in your administration, where are we with respect to your efforts in the area of economic development, and some of the things that we need to do to bring jobs to the state and put us on a positive road to the future?
Well, Bill, I tell you this, as far as jobs growth, I don't know. I can't tell you this concretely, but I don't know if we've had a time when we've had a better prospect for jobs growth, But we always need to remember just this: is, while we've always been a coal state, and now all of a sudden there's a possibility of us being a natural gas state as well. And we've been blessed with incredible natural resources, and we don't want to run away from those. But we need further diversification, whether it be tourism, or you mentioned agriculture. Agriculture is a sleeping giant. Yep. I mean, there's things that we can do within the state agriculturally, and we're working on it. We're really, really working on it. So you'll see a rollout of ag opportunities in the future. There's just so many things that are right at our fingertips, and we're getting better, and we're getting more and more momentum every day. And to be perfectly honest, you're not going to be able to stop this thing. I mean, we're going to get tired of prosperity, and if I can have anything to do with it. And the other thing is, we know there's a bunch of people still really hurting. There's no question they're hurting. And we don't want to quit until everybody's affected in a positive way.
Right. And again, I guess part of that diversification. You know certainly from the beauty of the Greenbrier Valley, Dave and I are New River Gorge guys. Tourism is has such potential for our state, but I know government is, I guess, about competing priorities. I know, we'd like to be able to devote a little bit more marketing funds to get the message out about West Virginia. And again, I guess, naturally that had to be cut back a little bit, I suppose. But what do we really need to do to pass the good message of what we have here in the state of West Virginia?
Well, I've said this 1,000 times, but any frog that's not proud of his own pond isn't much of a frog. I mean, that's all there is to it, and so we need to market ourselves. Now, one thing, I put 20 million, or I don't know exactly what the number was, in for promoting tourism. I mean, tourism should explode in West Virginia. I mean, that's all there is to it. We're within 600 miles of 2/3 of the population of the country. We're going to have better roads so they can get here and get away and everything. But at the same time, we've got 4 unbelievable seasons. We've got the rivers. We've got all kinds of activities. We've got all kinds of hunting and fishing and hiking and so many different things. It's unbelievable as far as the possibilities. But people on the outside don't know it. They just don't know it. So we got to tell them. And once they know it, they'll come. And not only will they come, they'll come back. And so that's what we got to do. Now, one thing I did, I put $58 million, as the governor's revenue estimates that I could put into the budget. Everybody said, well, those are hocus pocus numbers. You can't do that, and we got to take them out. And because we had to take them out, we had to lower the tourism dollars. Well, I said, all along, I said, I am solid in the numbers. The year before, I had to put in 129, and we're just about to close out our year inclusive of the 129 with almost a $40 or $50 million surplus. Now, the net of the whole thing is we will almost have the 58 million before we get to the end of this year, and it was for next year. And so what we're going to be able to do is double back and put real dollars into tourism. And we have a new tourism campaign. Chelsea's doing a great job. We got a lot of people that are really working on that. But for crying out loud, like I said, not much of a frog if you're not proud of your own pond. So we best better be proud of our own pond.
That's right.
Governor, I know education is of interest to all West Virginians and to yourself. And you especially made education a priority. And I think from the state board perspective, certainly you've been supportive. And how do you see communities and schools interrelated?
Well, first of all, Dave, you've been a tremendous board member, and you've done a great job, and our state board is doing an outstanding job beyond belief. Tom Campbell's doing a good job leading, and Steve Payne is a superstar, and there's been so many improvements from the standpoint of getting rid of this crazy testing of our kids nonstop, or the A through F grading of our schools, and all the repetitiveness of the RESAs and layers upon layers and putting stuff back into local control. We've done a lot of stuff. It took a lot of guts for me to step forward and say, we're going to do 5% for our teachers, and stop this, the strike and everything that was going on, and reward our teachers and invest in education rather than think it's a necessary evil that has to be just funded. Now, in the first day of the state, I tried to get our teachers a 2% pay raise in the first state of the state. And then I got shot down by people on both sides of the party, on party lines. But nevertheless, long and the short of it is, I'm a real believer that when schools leave the communities die. And as we grow West Virginia, we need to be so supportive of our schools in communities. And the other great big thing is just this, guys, and that is we have to put a real priority on the fact that education does so many things for us that you don't really think about. Think about our image. think about why a lot of people wouldn't consider West Virginia. The number one thing people want to do with their employees, the number one thing is always where the kids going to go to school. Right. That's the number one thing. The next thing is almost always what's the standard of life, and highways is right on the top of it. So at the end of the day, we've got to look at education completely differently than what we've done in the past. We need to look at education as an investment that basically perpetuates and becomes an economic driver for us. But there's, I'm in the school all the time, Coach.
Right.
And when I had the boys and the girls both, I was there 5 hours a day, 6 days a week. And so I'm with the kids. I'm in the school. I see what's going on with their teachers and how hard they work and everything and how frustrated they were, and I see it. And so the long and short of it is we've just got to recommit ourselves to education, and lots of good things then will happen.
This is the West Virginia Capital Report. Funding for the West Virginia Capital Report is brought to you by Mark A. Hunt and Associates and by the AFL-CIO of West Virginia.
Hi everybody, I'm Tom McGee. It's dangerous out there. If you get hurt, shift the odds in your favor. Call Mark Hunt to get your just compensation and compensation for your injury. And if you have any criminal charge or if you get a DUI, be sure to call me at 304-642-6160.
The law firm of Mark Hunt and Associates, specializing in personal injury, DUI, and criminal defense. 304-344-1800.
Dan Hill Construction Company in Glen Ferris has over 33 years of local service. With county, state, and federal and church construction experience, we can design and build any type of project that will suit your needs. Once you select us for your project, we'll supply all the tools, labor, equipment, and materials to complete your project on budget and on time. We're a zero drugs tolerance company with an excellent safety record as a bonded and insured commercial contractor with an outstanding relationship and payment record reputation with all of our subcontractors and suppliers. References available upon request. We are Dan Hill Construction Company, 9033 Midland Trail, Glen Ferris, West Virginia. 304-632-1600, license number WV001196, rated in the best top 50 government contractors in West Virginia.
Governor, I guess sticking with education, certainly the teacher strike was a major part of the last regular session of the legislature, but part of the issues involved there related to our PEI situation, and I believe you appointed a task force that has been charged with the responsibility of taking a good hard look at that system and coming back with recommendations, and I believe they've been out in the field holding public meetings. Tough problem that's been around for a long time. Can we wrestle that grizzly bear? Is it? It's a tough problem, but it's an important one to our public employees and our educators.
Well, it's a tough problem. In fact, a lot of people would say it's impossible because healthcare costs continue to rise like crazy, and they're very difficult to predict, and it's a very fluid situation. But my dad would always say, a really tough problem's going to take a couple days if it's impossible to take another day. And that's how I grew up, and that's the way I think. But the PEI situation can be solved. We have some great ideas that have come to my desk in the last 2 weeks. I think you're going to see a rollout of an idea or ideas on how that is a gathering of all the task force that's gone and got information from all kinds of different people. And I think you're going to see a rollout before you would expect. I think that sometime latter August, maybe the early September, you're going to see a rollout with solutions and and basically a package. And it's going to involve a lot of different aspects of the package. You know, but I guess I better leave it at that, because all the particulars and everything, you know, whether it be, you know, personal health care funds or whether it be, you know, the addressing of how we're going to handle all the spouse stuff, or the increase or participation that is a guaranteed additional participation from the state. I think everybody's got to get in it to make it work, because at the end of the day, you know, if you're a teacher or a state worker, let's just be fair, and you're making $38 or $40 or $42 or whatever $1,000 a year, and you're kind of stuck in the mud right there. I mean, you know, you don't really care that you get any drastic increases, but you can't pay drastic increases in cost that's pulling out of your paycheck and make it. You just can't. So at the end of the day, I mean, if your healthcare costs just keep going and everything, and your salaries don't really move, boy, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. You might as well be getting a salary reduction. And so we got to solve that issue. And I'll tell you, it has been really tough. The task force has done amazingly well, and we're close. We're really close to getting that done.
Absolutely. Well, sticking with you know, tough issues, one that's been around for a while, but certainly impacting and affecting our communities is, of course, the opioid addiction problems, the substance abuse, the impact and effect that's having in our communities. Again, another tough, complex problem, but one that truly affects our quality of life in West Virginia. Most families have been affected by this public health crisis. Any of your thoughts on you know, how we you know, try to turn the curve on that one too?
Well, Bill, super tough problem. You know, I was talking with, you know, former delegate Carol Miller, or I guess still delegate Carol Miller, running for Congress the other day, and I told her, I said, Carol, can you name one thing that I've told you that we shouldn't have done or shouldn't do? And I told everybody that we should add a 5% successful bidders fee and bucket that money and target 100% of that money to try to get rid of this drug epidemic with the successful bidders on our highways. The contractors were in favor. We could have gotten it done, and we cast it away. You know, it's almost like casting away the opportunity to tier severance tax on coal and oil and gas, which I introduced, and we just threw it away. Now, to just call it like it is, we shouldn't have done that, because that would have raised us about $120 million, and it probably would have not cost the state hardly anything, because if I was putting in my bid, I would have sharpened my pencil and just absorbed the 5%. Well, that would have given us an incredible bucket of money to attack this drug problem. The drug problem is huge, and it is a big time problem. You know, there's probably not enough money made to stop it all on day one. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to address it on a global basis, meaning all counties in West Virginia, as best we can, as best we've done. And then when there's issues like in Huntington, you know, where we had to bring the guard in and all that kind of stuff, we do. But in addition to that, what I've done is put together a pilot project in a southern county and a pilot project in a northern county, to where we can truly figure out exactly what needs done and how to attack this issue, and then let it spread to all 55 counties. Now, in the meantime, what we surely are going to do is protect those other 53 counties. But there is just, we're fighting on too many fronts all at the same time. Right. And so we've made some mistakes, we've missed some opportunities, we're making progress, but we got to fix this, because it'll cannibalize us. Yeah. That's all there is to it.
Governor, another issue you've addressed are the prisons,
right,
and the workers there. I think you're to be commended for that, and that's a problem that almost caused the national takeover.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we got down to the point in time where, you're asking somebody to come to work, at one of our prisons or rehabilitation centers or whatever, but nevertheless, you're asking them to come to work at dollars that you just can't find anybody. The turnover rate is unbelievable. The training costs maybe more than the employment, and I may be exaggerating there just to make my point, but turnover rate's unbelievable. In all honesty, a lot of the people, or some of the people that you're having that are supervisory people, may very well be part of the problem rather than part of the solution, because you're just not able to attract and keep people on the job and do the proper work. So we tried to address that, and I think we've made some progress there too.
I know Secretary Sandys has talked about streamlining the situation and bringing military affairs together under the same roof, and I think that was part of your package in the extraordinary session.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, Secretary Sandy is, an ex-military or Secret Service or whatever. Right. I don't know exactly all of his credentials, but he's surely a guy with a lot of insight, into, law enforcement, and he's done a marvelous job, and he's doing just exactly what you're saying. We're streamlining things, saving dollars here, moving those dollars over here to be able to do it better. So
congratulations on your good work, and certainly continued good success as you work for the benefit of the state of West Virginia.
Well, Bill, thank you again, and Dave, thank you. And
thank you.
Like I told you guys when you came in, you said, any questions you want us to ask? I said, y'all ask whatever you choose to ask, and I'm just that way. I'm an open book, and I just want people to know that I'm just Jim. I'm just here to do the right thing. I'm here to serve, and that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely.
Great.
Well, again, thanks for joining us. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and Dave and I will be right back to close out the Capitol Report show. So stay with us, everybody.
This is the West Virginia Capitol Report. Funding for the West Virginia Capitol Report is brought to you by Mark A. Hunt and Associates and by the AFL-CIO of West Virginia.
Welcome back to the Capitol Report as we close out today's program. And Dave Perry, great opportunity to sit down and talk to Governor Jim Justice about a lot of the things going on in the state of West Virginia, and a good conversation. We still have some tough issues in the state, but beginning to see some progress and turning the corner on a number of things that have been plaguing us for quite some time.
Absolutely, Bill. I think as you said, there are an array of topics, there are an array of issues that the governor has addressed, and it would appear that we're turning the corner for the state of West Virginia. Of course, I'd be amiss if I didn't say, Bill, you look a little on the rough side there today.
Well, again, I have been clean shaven since my teenage years. I've never failed to shave in the morning, but have a family reunion coming up this weekend in which we're celebrating our Scotch-Irish heritage, and I'll be wearing a Scottish kilt. And I've been told that a good Scotsman needs to be a little bit scruffy when he puts his kilt on. So that explains this, and looking forward to this being over with so I can get back to being clean shaven.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, but again, great opportunity to sit down. We want to thank the governor's office for their assistance in allowing us to film this show right here in the governor's reception room in his office here in the state capitol. And again, some tough issues, but improved revenue collections, new road construction, a lot of things going on in the state of West Virginia that are important to everybody in this state. So again, thanks to Governor Justice for joining us here on the Capitol Report. Again, that's going to do it for this week's program. On behalf of my co-host David Perry, I'm Bill Laird, thanking you all for tuning us in each week on the West Virginia Capitol Report. Thank you, everybody, and have a good week.